So I'm Raul.
And I am Jennifer.
So we're here at Acai Bar here in Culver City, and we're trying the Dragonfruit smoothie. Actually, we tried it already. It's pretty good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Very good.
So all fruits. Yeah, and it's a dragon fruit with strawberries. It tastes really excellent. So
It's not too sweet, not bitter.
yeah,
It's just perfect.
yeah.
Just like me.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. And like, it actually even matches your hair a
I
little
know,
bit,
right? You said you like purple hair, so I had to wear it for you today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So why don't we talk about one of our mutual passions, so wrestling.
Love wrestling.
So
Absolutely love it.
So you have an extensive background in pro wrestling, but you've recently tried catch wrestling. So
And that's how I met you.
yes, and the rest is history. Just except I want to hear your opinion about what do you think? What were some of the differences that you saw between pro wrestling and catch wrestling?
A lot. And first off, I want to say thank you for making me a stronger woman. Because catch wrestling has definitely gave me a lot of strength that I didn't even know that I had. You know, not only did it work on my skill, but, you know, it's so nice to be able to get a hold for real and know how to apply it and how to make it work on somebody. I love pro wrestling. I love the entertainment aspect of it. I know a lot of different pro wrestling holds, but not necessarily on how to make them work, you know, because it's entertainment. And this is where you step in with catch wrestling, because I learn all those holds, plus more variety of different holds that I've never even seen before. And I'm able to make them effective and put people in pain and make them cry for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like one of the things that you first told me was that you know, you have a real passion for wrestling, but you wanted to know about its roots, like where it all or where what you do comes from, and it comes from this style of wrestling called catch wrestling, or it's called, the long name is called catch as catch can. It's developed in England, but yeah, you can win by pin or submission. That's why we still have pins today, and like pro wrestling, and also collegiate wrestling, and the freestyle wrestling in the Olympics. It all came from this because pro wrestling used to be catch wrestling, and you'd have these guys who'd be trying to submit each other or pin each other, and but many things happen, like sometimes like wrestlers would have to travel around a lot, do different shows, so then they would try to make routines to try to minimize injury, and also to make sure they can do it multiple times, like when they travel different towns. So that's kind of one of the ways that pro wrestling developed, right? So they still put on a great show, but try to minimize injury. But even though we see today, it's still really rough, because we're seeing in the news like a lot of the pro wrestlers with the different types of long-lasting injuries they get and stuff. So
Right, we try to work smarter, not harder.
yes,
And
exactly.
try to have that longevity,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Because when you're really passionate about something, you want it to last as long as possible,
Yeah.
you know. And, you know, I just love the catch wrestling aspect of it, just because there's really no rules to it. It's like no holds bar. Like I can like do stuff that wouldn't be allowed in an actual, you know, in the Olympics or whatever. They'd be blowing that whistle left and right on me.
Yeah. Totally.
You know, and I like that. It's kind of like street wrestling in a sense. You know?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, because there are so few rules that I think a lot of people can correctly consider this kind of like a real martial art. Just we don't really punch or kick, but we can kind of nudge with our elbows. There's a lot of pain compliant stuff. So.
But why hasn't catch wrestling been more? How come I don't see much of catch wrestling out there, especially in the MMA? You see BJJ, you see kickboxing, you see Muay Thai, but you don't really hear much about catch wrestling. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because I think some of it's marketing. Because I mean, a lot of these styles are all effective, but the thing is, like you said, like when catch wrestling was in its heyday, then we started seeing like the branching off, or like pro wrestling branched off. And then also when they started doing the modern Olympics again, catch wrestling was there. And then they made all the rules, so, and also all the time limits, and they took out the submission. So then they want to be going to the Olympics, so they'll do whatever rule set they implement. So these were some major things that almost caused catch wrestling to go extinct. People are doing these other things that are popular, so they don't necessarily have to know the pure, real catch wrestling. So then nowadays, a lot of people they might if they've heard the word, they still don't know the pure thing, or they don't know quite what it is.
Right, but it can work in your advantage, because if I'm trained as a catch wrestler and I'm dealing with other opponents with different backgrounds of other martial arts, I can throw out a few tricks that they've never experienced before, and they won't even know how to react to that. So because it's kind of like almost this, it's kind of like, under the radar almost, and I know that you're trying to bring it more up, to where it's more accessible to everybody, because I think it should be mainstream. I don't think, it should be back the way it started, back in the the late 19, or the early 1900s, right?
Yeah, and so, even if it was, mainstream, kind of like how you see today with, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai, they'll have these different schools that are producing, different talent. So we could still, even if it was mainstream, we would, the legitimate lineage schools would still have an advantage over the other schools that maybe are trying to develop their own thing and might not know the pure version. Actually, one of my friends kind of put it where it's like we have so many universities, right? But people still know Harvard and Yale and all these these big time.
That's true.
Yeah, so
it's tradition.
Yeah, so the lineage or the real catch wrestling lineage schools, they would kind of be like that. They'd be like these kind of pinnacles of authentic and pure catch wrestling. So we would most likely still have an advantage, over time.
And you're pretty much the only one out of all of Los Angeles to be coaching and offering catch wrestling.
Yeah.
And Los Angeles is one of the largest cities in the world.
Yeah.
And you're the only one.
Yeah.
So I feel very lucky.
I feel
I feel really lucky to be able to have found you. I would like to attend more classes. I know I haven't been able to as much because I've been traveling with the pro wrestling and other wrestling. I'm always wrestling, just not catch wrestling, and I need to go more often.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So, and I hope other women get involved too, because I love anything where a woman is doing a man's sport, or what's been considered a man's sport anyway. Yeah,
and that's actually one of the things that I really am trying to work on. We do have a few women around the world, in Singapore and in England and in Canada, that are practicing, but any legitimate sport needs women, a women's division. So this is one of the ways that the sport can get into the Olympics. They look if the sport has a women's division as well, so that they want to try to see if a sport is inclusive in that way, and then becomes a real legitimate sport. So that's kind of my goal.
Do you think catch wrestling will ever make it to the Olympics?
I'm not sure. I don't know if you've seen all the backlash. The Olympics seem to really devastate economically the cities that it goes to. So there has to be some kind of shakeup or something, or they might not even be around in the future. We might have to start some new tradition, some other type of Olympics. Because there have been stuff like that in the past. It's just our modern Olympics kind of won out. So that's what we have. That's what we know today. But there were other venues or other kind of events like that.
Well, you have an event coming up.
Yeah, speaking of events,
yes.
You're really good at segueing into all these things. So yes, this weekend, or so this Saturday, July 15th, is the Frank Gotch World Catch Wrestling Tournament. So yeah, authentic catch wrestling rules. It's open to anybody. So people who don't necessarily have a pure catch wrestling background, they're entering, and it's open for them. It's open for anybody to compete. But this is catch wrestling at the current highest level. Because you've even wrestled with some of my students, and they've got a few of them who are world champions now, and you know how tough they are. So the bravest people are going to be at this tournament, and it's going to be tough. tough.
And which wrestler do you think is going to basically be the shining star out of this tournament?
I can't.
You can't say it, huh?
No, but I mean, everyone's actually like.
They're all pretty tough and they're all pretty talented.
Yeah. So especially any lineage guy. So it's like I got some sort of like my students, but then also my buddy's students on the East Coast, John Strickland. Like he's got some guys who've been training with him who are competing. So like true real catch wrestling. I mean, with the toe holds or these other types of holds, it's like you felt a lot of this. It's painful. So. I think anybody like truly has a chance to win or to advance or go really far at least.
Any women in the tournament?
We have a women's division, but
no women?
Yeah, we have the woman from Singapore, and then so other people weren't able to, or she scared them all off, I think.
So there's only one woman?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to her? Is she going to have to wrestle the men? What's going to happen?
Well, then maybe she'll have to wait till next year, or other. We're gonna have more events. Really?
I think we should put her up against the guys and let her beat some guys' butts.
Okay. All right. We'll see if she's up to that.
I'm all into that, you know?
Yep, definitely.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for the future of catch wrestling.
Yes.
And I'm going to be supporting it all the way.